Recording in progress.
Okay, good morning everyone. We're beginning Siman Peches. Siman Peches is the last Siman in Hilchos Kriyishma. And it's about Tumas Bal Keri. Bal Keri mutar b'Kriyishma. Bal Keri is permitted to say Shema. Says Mechaber, Kol HaTmeim Koirin BaTorah. Anyone who's Tamei is allowed to learn Torah, allowed to read the Torah. Furthermore, V'Korin Kriyishma Musam, they could even say Shema and they could daven. However, there's one exception, Chutz mi Bal Keri, except for Bal Keri, which is a big chiddush. Because of all the tumais, it is the most lenient, it's the most innocuous of all the tumais. Nevertheless, even though a Tamei Meis could learn Torah and say Shema, and a Zav could learn Torah and say Shema, but not a Bal Keri. Why? Takanas Ezra. Shehoitzioi Ezra mikol hatmeim. Ezra removed it from the general category of one who is tamei. Va'asarai, he prohibited bein b'divrei Torah, bein b'kriyishma tefillah ad sheyitbal. Why? Kedei shelo yiu talmidei chachamim mitzuyan eitzel neshosein ketar negoylan. So that talmidei chachamim would not frequent their wives like chickens. This time it's interesting because so then only Talmidei Chachamim should be asur in Kriyat Shema and Tefillah. So well, it's a good thing I'm not a Talmid Chacham. One could say, but either the pshat is you're supposed to be or loy plug. But it's hard to say loy plug if most people Talmidei Chachamim. On a shidduch resume, everyone's a Talmid Chacham, but for real, is everyone a Talmid? Are most people Talmidei Chachamim? Unless it's something like Netilas Yadayim, the same way we're masaking Netilas Yadayim, because really only Kohanim should wash Netilas Yadayim, even though they're only a miyut. But then Ezra retracted. Then they were mavatal that takana. Gemara Brachos on Chav Beis says v'hamida hadavar adin, and they established the matter on the baseline halacha. Sha'af bal keri mutar b'divrei Torah uvekriyishma uvetfila b'loy tefila. They don't need to be toivel. Uvaloi rechitza, they don't need to wash. The tisha kabim, they don't have to wash themselves with 9 kav. V'chein pashat minog, and that is how the custom has spread. Says the Mishna Berura, kedei v'gam. So one reason is kedei shalayu tamicha mitzuneitz neshzam ketar negoylam, and also v'gam ki ha-keri ba mikalas roish. Also, keri. This is not just talking about someone who had relations. It includes, meaning the Mechaber's reason is focused on someone who has relations. Well, what about someone who just saw la'oinsai? So to that the Mishna Berura addresses ki ha-keri ba mikalas roish. Seeing keri comes from lightheadedness, meaning from frivolity. V'divrei Torah tzarich liyos be'ema, v'yira, b'reses, v'aziyah. Learning Torah should be with fear, awe, trembling, shaking. By the way, this second reason would apply also to those who are not Talmidei Chachamim. In other words, the reason on the Mechaber is only someone who had relations, and it only applies to Talmidei Chachamim. This added reason applies to everyone. Applies to everyone. Somebody who wants to accustom themselves and to be toivel, blessing will fall on their head. So the question is, why? What are you doing? By the way, it doesn't sound that admirable. I mean, Tavai Olav Bracha is not the greatest compliment in the Shulchan Aruch. Basically, if you think about it, Midaraisa, you don't have to be Taival. Midrabanan, you don't have to be Taival. It's a takana of Ezra, and then they were mevatel the takana. So, l'chayra, if somebody goes to the mikvah, you should say, pal, what are you doing? It's like shaking a lulav on Tu B'Shvat. It has no meaning. In other words, it's not be'etzem tahara. I mean, it is tahara, but you don't need tahara. So what are you doing? So the Shevet HaLevi says, even though mitzad halacha, they're mevatel takana, that's only they were mevatel the takana that you have to. But the inyan of Kedusha, not to frequent one's wife like a tarnagal, and not to keep tumah on you, the tam hadavar lo nisbatla. It still brings Kedusha Gedayla. And the Shevet HaLevi says, Bizmanenu shemetsuyin mikvahs ein tam lahakel. He says, it's baduk umenusa hatvila machzekes es hazikaroin lahagim etaris Hashem v'talmudai miskayim biyadai. And the siman is Yiras Hashem tahira oimedes la'ad. Reb Chaim Kanievsky in the Orchos Yosha says that it's brought in a sefer, Kol hachiburim shenaspashtu b'kerv Am Yisrael are those who their mechaber were nizhar b'tfilas Ezra. And he brings from Shal Shachus Min HaShamayim, who answered that because they were not toivel, the tefillah are not miskabelas. Lamaisa, I personally know of Svarim that were niskabel and Klal Yisrael, of great Rosh Yeshiva in the last generation, who when they went to the Mikvah on Erev Yom Kippur, they said, it's colder than last year. So, Reb Chaim says that it's brought in a certain sefer. There are yeshivas that I know that the Rosh Yeshiva said that if they would have a mikvah in the yeshiva, he would close down the yeshiva. So there are different approaches to this. Lamaisa al pi ikar hadin, there's no requirement, and according to the Mishnah Berura, all he says is Tavei alav bracha. Weiter in the Mishnah Berura, v'dafka mal yidei zel lo yaver zman kriya shema tefillah. Dafka, if you're not going to be over the zman kriya shema in the tefillah, ve'efshir dafilu mal yidei zel yisbatel metefillah b'tzibor. Gam kein enoch l'hachmir mezeh. In other words, if you're going to be over on zman kriya shema or zman tefillah, avada, you can't go to the mikvah. It could be even if you're going to lose out on davening with the minyan, you shouldn't go. What about taking a shower before you daven? Are you allowed to take a shower before you daven? The Shevet Levi says you could be malamed zchus on those who are lenient to take a shower, even to use soap. Meaning like this, we're not talking about stam taking a shower, we're talking about someone who's going to the mikvah and then he wants to take a shower to wash off the mikvah water. So, since the ikar shower is agav the tefillah, even with soap, it would be okay. Also, taking a shower is it's a quick kind of thing. It's only it's derech harai, but you shouldn't be marach in the shower. That's a davar before shachris. Rabbi Yosef said you should not clean yourself. You should not be roichetz before davening. You should not be roichetz before davening. If you need to wash yourself off because you need to clean yourself off from the mikvah, then you could do it not in a bath but only in a shower. Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach says it could be you could take a shower before davening even if you don't go to the mikvah, but you can't use soap. Rav Chaim Kanievsky says if it's hard for you to daven without bathing, you could take a shower before davening. Rav Nissim Karela says you can wash your hands, face, and feet. I don't know of a definitive psak otherwise, but I know that in America the social norm of showering is different than it is in Europe and certainly in Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Yosef still said not to do so before davening, and Rav Shlomo Zalman said efshir lahakel gam l'loi tvila, but without soap. Those are the opinions that the Dirshu brings. Okay, weiter in the Mishnah Berura. Oisa takana, they were mevatel takana. Shahoisa gezer she'in roi v'tzivichan lamed. But it was a gezer that the majority of the tzibur cannot withstand. Ubit lua, they were mevatel misham bittul Torah, because of bittul Torah. Because if you're going to say, well, you can't learn until you go to the mikvah, some people might say, all right, I'll go on Erev Shabbos. If somebody became a Bal Keri on Yom Kippur, since they were mevatel takana, Mishnah Berura, the Shulchan Aruch brings later in Siman Taryag, someone who became a Bal Keri, he should only wash off that place, but he should not be toivel, and even should not do tes kavin. Also, they're mevatel it mishum bittul peri v'rivya. Okay, we will hold it over here. Okay, hatzlach everyone.
Recording stopped.